Okay, I've got a little bit of a different setup tonight. I'm completely outdoors. I'm not able to work inside my shop right now, so hopefully the dogs won't walk past and into view here. So I'm just going to give this a try and see how it goes. This is a piece of raw chert. Okay. Looks like pretty high quality stuff. Hopefully it's good quality all the way through. Sometimes when the cap is loose, it doesn't create good flakes. So I just got to check every now and then. I haven't put any glue in there to keep that cap from coming off or loosening up. Just trying to figure out how to work the edge a little bit so I can get rid of some of that mass. I pretty much flattened this one side. Now I'm just going to remove the mass off the other. If I have to, I might use this as a ridge if I don't get good flakes off of this continuous platform here. I'm going to drive flakes in that way. If I can't get all of it, I'll use this this ridge here. Yeah. So I can either hit there first or here first. I think I'm going to hit here first. It's less risky. Something did crack there. I could see that crack before I struck it again. It had already cracked right there on that first strike. I was hoping it would take more of that mass off, but that's okay. Hit a little bit too low that time. Let's see. Very good. I can use those smaller flakes for smaller points. That one too. Let's see. This edge is a little bit too fragile, but oh well. You know, if you don't take back the edge enough, it seems like you've got a lot of distance in here. So you end up thinking you're hitting high up off the edge and you're not, and you end up crushing. So it's important to take back the delicate part of the edge. So that your strikes are going to be into something solid, especially if you want to remove long flakes. I'll be getting into the difference between an edge and a surface. I just wrote something to that effect in my latest article. I make a distinction between what is the edge and what is the surface of the workpiece. And I just picked an arbitrary measurement of a 30/2 of an inch is the edge. You know, and the rest of it is the surface. And usually your platforms are bigger than that 1/32 of an inch, but when you get to the true arrow points, it's a little different, and I'm going to have to expand on that. The edge on a true arrow point is very, very small. Smaller than a 30/2 of an inch, but just as a general rule, I've kind of made that up, and I'm going to stick with it unless it proves to be too complicated or not explaining very well what's going on. Okay. You don't want to hit the edge. You don't want to hit that 1/32 or 1 millimeter of that edge at all. You want to be up higher, especially at this stage. Okay. Yeah, this tip is kind of going downward that way, so I'm going to take this mass off here. And these are good for small points. I still get a lot of questions on my spalling video, you know, why is it a lot of waste? And I use the smaller flakes. What I meant by waste is it's more wasteful than cutting into slabs or driving blades off. The Levallois technique is more wasteful than driving flakes or blades off a core. You know, if you have a conical core and drive blades, or if you slab it with a modern lapidary tool, it's less wasteful than the technique that I showed in that video. I still get questions to this day. That's an old video. So that's why I was showing you the smaller flakes, and I can use those. It's high quality. This is high quality raw chert, so I like to use those as much as I can. Some of this lower quality stuff that I have, I don't save. I don't save a lot of those waste flakes unless they're nice and broad and flat. See, I hit too low and you can see the crushing. I can't hit too high because I'll take out too much of that mass. But I hit a little bit higher and it's still crushed. That's one reason why I don't isolate platforms. If I isolate a platform and that's the only place I have to hit and I do that to it, where else am I going to hit? I'm going to have to take off some of the edge and create a new isolated platform. So I just like to create continuous platforms, and if I mess up, I'll just move over. Much better. Starting to get flat. Now, would it crush less if I was using antler? Maybe. It might crush less if I was using antler, but that platform is pretty stout, so if I was using a hammerstone, it would crush probably also. And I shouldn't say stout. I should say that angle is steep. You can crush platforms with antler too. Of course, steel is a lot more aggressive. You're going to crush a lot more on average with steel. You can think of Flintknapping as a numbers game. Play the odds and that kind of thing. But I always try to adjust my technique . I'll try different things with the tools. So it's pretty random the way I do it. Like I haven't abraded in a while. It's because if I see good opportunistic platforms that don't need too much abrading like this here, I won't do it. I hit pretty good on that one, but it didn't go. When you hit like that, sometimes it sends in incipient cracks. There might be cracks in there, but that was, you know, it's a perfect hit on a perfect platform and nothing happened. So again, that's why I don't isolate platforms personally. A lot of times I end up hitting just trying out different spots and see how it goes. I don't know what the percentage is between what I expect and what I don't expect is. Maybe I'll try to figure that out. I think maybe the unexpected flakes are about 20%. These little ones I'm doing, I can predict those pretty well, but the larger ones and the precise hitting on the platform are the ones that are usually the ones that mess me up as far as not knowing what's going to happen. Okay, I can continue with the percussion, but I don't know if I want to risk it. Just abrading so I can see what I've got for edges. A lot of you guys that are old viewers of my channel know that I just randomly abrade and look for opportunistic platforms, but some of you new guys might not know what I'm doing. I'm just taking back all the very weak, sharp edges. Now, was this done on real artifacts? I don't see much evidence of doing this on the real ones. I've gotten into the habit of doing it myself just to save time. I do notice on the real ones that there is dulling in specific spots, so I think they were maybe more careful. They would just abrade a little bit and hit, and then abrade a little bit and hit, but it takes longer that way. But you also get to know the shape of your workpiece a little better if you take more time and study each platform or each opportunistic area, whichever strategy you're going for. If you are looking very carefully at each spot, you get more of a feel for your material and more of a feel for your workpiece. I don't work that way usually. Because I break a lot of pieces, you know. I'm sure everybody does, but a lot of times I run through a lot of material, especially if it's poor quality, and I just aggressively work it. And if it breaks, it's no big deal. I'll just toss it out. But if it's a very high quality piece, it does pay to be very careful and look at each platform. Because you don't want to mess up your good material. Yeah, some of these areas I just want to barely tap it, and I got to watch out for this little ridge on the cap, because if that catches, it produces an unpredictable flake. I hit that one a little bit too high. I'm reaching the limits of my risk taking as far as percussion goes on this one. So I'm going to switch over to indirect percussion. Again, I'm just getting rid of all the sharp edges to reveal the good spots where I can hit, or to make the spots more attractive that are opportunistic. I keep getting jabbed by flakes. I gotta sew that up here in my glove. Okay. Actually, I don't see any good platforms yet for large flakes, so I'm just going to trim it up a little bit and see how it looks after I clean it up and make it more regular instead of all wavy. Make the edge a little bit straighter. They didn't really do too much of that either on most of the archaic stuff that I've seen. They just have at it, go at it at random. They don't really prepare too much as far as the preform goes. They do concentrate a lot on the base and the stem on a lot of these archaic points here in this area, and then they leave the blade all chaotic. But the easiest way to do it is just make it all regular and then drive in your bold flakes. You know, make a nice, very clean, no step fracture biface, and then shape it, run in bold flakes so you get that bold flake pattern, large flakes. Some guys and some points actually require that you make small inward flakes throughout the whole piece, but the way I usually do mine are just bold flaking toward the end. Not like a Scots bluff or something that has a lot of individually detached flakes, very carefully done in a sequence. I don't work on a sequence usually. I tend to work in a sequence when I've gotten into the groove. I haven't napped in a few weeks, so I start out pretty random, and then as I spend several days napping, I get more and more regular in my flake removals. Now that might be a problem area, tough spot, because that should have gone much further. I'm going to need to prepare a really good platform to get rid of that mass. I could strike here really hard and hope for the best. I've got plenty of opportunities on the other side to drive in flakes in case that doesn't work. So I'm going to try that first. I can already kind of see the shape of the blade that I want. We'll see though. I can't plan too far ahead. Yeah, that didn't do anything. It doesn't seem like that's a bad spot in the stone. I feel like taking another really big direct percussion flake across the whole thing, but it's too risky. Yeah. I could take one off the base, but I don't want to lose length on it. I won't lose too much length. That wasn't too bad. I did lose some length on it. Let's see. Not good. Yeah. That's what happens when I isolate a platform. Not every time, but many times. I could try hitting that again. I want a really bold flake there. Let's see. Didn't hit high enough. One more try. Yeah, that was a good hit, but it was hit on an area that was already starting to crush. And that does seem like a very gnarly part of that stone. The other side is great. I don't even think that it continues. It just stops right there. When that happens, I usually take down the edge more. But before I do that, let me try one more time. We'll just continue in the next video.